It only took a few seconds. It took 2 hands to do it. It worked better. Okay. The door is removed. All right. Here. As you can see, I got both trays removed. Here's the paper tray down here. Here's the photo tray. And then here's the hinge. All right. Now the problem is, if I can get a light in here, is this gear right here was the problem. This gear right here. This gear here should yeah, it should move up and down like that. It should move like a switch, or up and down switch, down and, you know, down, up, and all that stuff like that. This part right here was loose, and then was not in place. Somehow the door got the door itself actually knocked this part loose. It's like a it's clipped in there, and it's supposed to, and this is where the way it's supposed to look, because I had to snap this part back into place. And usually when I put the door back on, it was up like this when I took it off, but when I put it back on there, I like to put the latch in this position right here, in that position, and then I snap the door back on in that position, just to make sure that this latch gets inside the door. You know, and usually I lay the printer on its back when I do it. I put this thing down, and then I lay it on its back, and then I line the door up along the front here, and then I snap it back on. But I try to keep that like that, so that way I know that that's going to be in the right spot when it does it, because I did this before, and it worked in this position, where I put this lever right here in this position, and then I snapped the door back on, and then it worked again. I mean, the grinding noise when it printed disappeared, the door opens, and everything else all automatically like it did when it was brand new. So, and that's more likely might be the problem with your printer, but I don't know. But that was the problem on this printer. On the other hand, this little part right here, that was it. And easier to snap this piece apart is if you take, like I said, take this front panel off, but this has to come off second, and then you got to take out the side piece first, and then you got to take off the front piece second, and then that will give you a bigger window in here to actually look at the gear in here, and then pop it in there. Okay, here's with the side piece removed. I just got done doing that. It only took a few seconds or a few minutes or whatever, how long it takes you. Because it's better to do this with 2 hands instead of one holding the camera, and vice versa. All right. And as you can see, I got a bigger window here. Right by the gear here. This part right here. And as you can look in there, you could see how the gear works. As I'm moving it up and down, I like to keep it in this position when I put the door back on, which is the down position like that, because I find that it's better to. It'll lay right there on its back. It'll lay there when it's on its back. Now here's the other. Now before you snap that gear into place, what I did was I moved the part to the side as far as I can to the left, because it was loose. I moved it to the side. I powered up the printer. And I used I power up the printer, you know, power it up, and then I pressed the copy button. I just pressed the copy button, made a copy, you know, try to, you know, and let the printer go through any errors that it might have. And if and then there was an error in there that I had to remove, and all now I did was before I snapped that gear into part, or snapped that gear part into place, because I had it out to the side there, so that way it was out of the way, so that this gear back here starts spinning, and so does that part right back there, or yeah, that part back there. This part right back here, and this gear right here is, and that gear right there where my screwdriver's at is where that opens the door. I'm trying to look at it through the monitor here. Yeah, here the gear here. I'm using the screwdriver as a pointer. Okay. And then this gear right here is what's going to open your door. That gear where the screwdriver's on. I'm not doing any pressure. I'm just using the screwdriver as a pointer. So I don't want to, you know, I'm just pointing to the gear because I can't get my finger in there. The screwdriver's got a smaller finger than my finger. So, yep. And usually I put this in the down position, so that way it's in that position there, before I put the door back on. But before I put the door back, before I snap that part back into place, like I said, I powered the printer up, I turned the power on, and I hit the copy button and see if there was any errors that the screen might have. And it had one error in there that and it went through a lot of grinding noises and all that stuff, but it was alright. I think what it was doing is it was retiming itself. And then the error went away, and I even pressed the stop button here for about 5 seconds, and then the error disappeared in the screen. Yeah, anytime you get an error in the screen, most of the time, all you have to do is hold the stop button down for about 5 seconds, and then that should remove the error in the screen here. And then once I got all the errors removed, and there was only, I think, one. Well, there's actually 2 errors, but that's common because we'll talk about that one later. But the first error, all you want to get rid of all my errors before I snap that gear into place. So all I did was power it up, hit the copy button, check to see if there was any errors. Pretty much what it does is it puts the printer in the printing mode, okay, as copying. So then that activates all the gears and all that stuff, and puts everything back where it's supposed to be. Then I had an error on there, and then I hold the stop button down for about 5 seconds. Hold it, yeah, about 5, whatever, as long as it takes, just till the screen disappears from the window. When the error disappears from the window, then you could release the button. So you just hold it until the error in the window here disappears. Just hold that button down until the error in this window here disappears, and you'll be fine. And then hopefully it'll fix itself that way. If it doesn't, then you're going to have to take it to Canon to do it for you. But if this method does not work, then if this method doesn't work, then you have to take it to Canon. But if it does work, then you don't have to. Your printer don't have to go anywhere. You can fix it right here in a few minutes, how long it takes you to do this. But like I said, I'm not responsible for any broken parts from this front here, or any other pieces that you do to your printer, because you're doing this all on your own here. So, but I'm just showing you what the problem on my printer was this gear right here where my screwdriver's pointing. And that before I snapped that in place, while it was still loose, because it was wiggling, it was not where it was supposed to be, it moved around in there. And I ran the printer, I powered it up and hit the copy button, and then I see if it had any errors in there, and it did. It had one in there. And then I hit the stop button, hold it down until it disappeared. Then I pulled the cord off the back of it to unpower it, and then put the cord back in. And I done that, and then I powered it up, and then when it got to the point where I had only one error. It was when you power it up and you hit the copy button, and the only error that should pop up in that window is the no paper in the tray error. You should have no paper in the tray. Well, of course, I removed the tray, so that's the reason why. See, and so that's the only error you should have when you hit the copy button. When you hit the copy button up there and with the printer on, it should say no paper. Well, of course, I took both trays out, so that's the reason why. Yeah. Now, when you have no paper in the tray, error pops up in this window here, and then you can do what you could just shut the printer off or whatever, or if you want to, you could hold the stop button down, but I don't think I did. And then after when it says no paper in tray up in your error code up here, then you could take this gear and you could snap it back into place. So that way it would work as a switch, more or less, or kind of like an up and down, on and off switch. All right, see it? It didn't do that before. This whole gear, like I said, that whole gear was, and I know I'm kind of banging on, but and repeating myself a little bit here, but I'm just making sure that you watch this video all the way through, because I don't want you to kind of repeat what I did. And I want to give you all the details of what I did, so that way you could try to do them yourself. I'm going to pause it for a bit here, just for a second here, and then